hello everybody. Welcome back to Only Leeds Bros and Imagine Not Being Leeds for the Final Point. The show, if you're new here, where we all sit together, three lads, supping on a point and chatting about Leeds United and the previous game. And boy, good, this point will taste nice this week, lads. Remember after Millwall it didn't taste too great, but gonna taste good tonight. Leeds United 4, Swansea City 3. Leeds United with a last minute winner when all hope looked like it was lost when Swansea got the equaliser 3-0 with a couple of minutes to go. And then that man, Willie Lonto, who was dropped, came back with a bit between his teeth to get the winner for Leeds United. I'm going to pass you over to the boys and get their thoughts. Matty, how are you, buddy?
Leeds are falling apart again. Leeds are... Come on. Yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm still buzzing. Still on cloud nine. My day at work hasn't dampened my spirits, mate. I'm sure we'll touch on the bits and pieces throughout the game, obviously, but just... I said before game, all I wanted were 3 points. I didn't care how we got them. And I'm a bit of a sicko, mate. I quite enjoy games like that. I ain't going to lie. Like, you know, it took us back a few years to a certain time.
It was Bielsa-esque, wasn't it, boys?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk and waffle, haven't there, about being boring. And, you know, I've waded in on that a little bit in certain games. Not that I think it's as bad as what people have been saying, but it was quite nice and refreshing to have a game like that. And as you guys know, I'm massive on mental side of life, and coming through goal after goal, conceding, coming through that and winning. I mean, I think they the last 20 games they've played and scored first, they haven't lost, a bit like Millwall had, and we go on those runs quite frequently. And it's just great mental steel to come through a game like that when you constantly peg back and you're conceding, and very on Leeds like, but brilliant as well at the same time, lads.
Yeah. We echo that 110%. Matty, Dillo, what did you think? How are your feelings the day after?
I'm just going to sum up. I have a sticker here, and I just want everyone to have a look at it and read it. That wraps everything up, lads. Now, absolute, the performance itself, it was up and down. Apart from all that, though, we grinded out a win, didn't we? You know, it was good. What I loved about it, obviously the Willie Lonto goal to win it, but that competition, that flair, for him to come onto the pitch and go, do you know what? Solomon's had scoring 2 goals here, and he thinks he's going to because he's got the 2 goals, he's going to start the next game. So Fernando to come in and throw another spanner in the work to fire go, hold on a second here now, I got the winning goal. It was great. A little bit of ups and downs as it is throughout the game, but, you know, the 2 goals, the first 2 goals for them was shit, if I'm being honest with you. Completely shit. The first one unmarked, it wasn't a free kick, but as you said, Darren, and what we said on the live stream, yeah, we forgive and forget, get on with it. But the knocking that man marking his man, he didn't play well for me anyway in the first half. He started to come around in the second. How we got man of the match, I don't really know. Going to be a bit of a... I think DJ should have got it for me, being honest. He was everywhere.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
But their second goal, I have to blame Melia, lads, I'm sorry. His positioning wasn't right, but apart from all that, the power behind the shot itself, that's what I'm looking at. So
that's what makes it look bad, lads, doesn't it? It's because it very much trickled into the net.
He didn't put his foot through the ball.
Pablo's goal in the same net.
That's literally what I was about to say, Matty. I seen someone put the 2 videos together, so the start and the finishing, and the both of them looked the exact same. It just trickled into the net, and obviously the Pablo one, we don't even think of that as the ball trickling into the net. We just the goal that got us promotion. So. Yeah, I've watched it back a few times. There's a lot of blame going on Melier for it. Look, we have to look at everything else around it. The deflection, especially off Bogle. Look, Bogle can't do anything about it. He's trying to get the block in. It'd be worse if he didn't. He done his best to try and get to it. It deflects off him, and I just think it's because of the pace of the ball and makes it look a lot worse. If he hits that hard and it rockets off Bogle and smashes into the back of the net, you're saying, right, yeah.
It's going to controversial. They're kind of up and down.
So I don't fully blame him, but his position was a little bit off for me, lads. Just a little bit off, where he was a little bit too far over to the other side. But look, it's one of them things, and it wasn't a howler. It was just one of them where he couldn't get to it. So look, I'm not going to blame Melier too much. We need to try and back him, lads. We've said it before, especially after the Sunderland mistake. We need to back him. I don't think we should be berating him for something like that. You know, it was something a little bit worse, and again, he's done another howler. Well, then you've every right to get on his back. But for me yesterday, yeah, we got the win, so not too bothered about it. But you still have to look at the other 2 goals. It's like what you said, Dylan, you touched on it. From the free kick, the defending was horrendous, lads, really bad. It wasn't a free kick for me. Maybe Tanaka was dwelling on it a little bit, and then he doesn't follow his man, and Darlin just has the easiest goal he ever scored, tap in the back of the net. So it's them goals that you need to look at a little bit more for me. And then their third, the ball whipped into the box. I think time should be closed down a little bit more. Again, this is probably just being a little bit critical. Brilliant ball into the box, and he gets between Rodon and Strike, and then it taps it in again. So yeah, there's no point of just looking at 3 goals were scored, so there's no sense of just looking at one. You need to look at all 3 of the whole and how could it be divided. And overall, for me, I think the defence should have been a little bit better. And we've spoken about it, lads, and Matty has said it as well, that we've been rock solid at the back. We haven't even conceded any shots, never mind goals. We've been rock solid at the back. Yesterday, we went away from that a little bit, and again, look, it created a great game. We've done it so many times under Bielsa. We were all entertained. We've been crying out for entertainment. So, yeah, for me, I'm just delighted. It could be very different if it ended 3-0. We could be sitting here with sour pusses, but the fact that we got the win just feels a little bit sweeter, doesn't it?
We have to give Swansea a bit of credit as well, though, because I think Swansea played very well. All things considered, like, you know, they held the ball well. They went set out with a game plan. They frustrated the life out of us. The 2 goals, fair enough, but it doesn't matter how they go in, lads. They got the 2 goals, and that's the end of. Leeds simply didn't defend, to my knowledge anyway, for the first 2. But like then they got the third, you know. But look, I think we dodged the bullet to a certain degree, but we got the win, and that's kind of the main thing. A win is a win. We're top of the league, and we're going to win it, and we're the best in the league.
Sometimes you just have outliers, don't you, that make no sense. And that one of those games that there were no logic behind it. We'd all try to predict these score lines and how we think a game's going to be. Sometimes you get them right, like you two with the Millwall one, not the score, but you know, sort of the game plan and how it's going to go. This one, no one would have predicted this. And for me, yeah, we conceded 3 goals, and we can analyse those goals and pick apart who's to blame, obviously. But I don't think I'm alone in thinking, you know, majority of Leeds fans don't see a problem with the defence. So this can just be an outlier for me. But we've seen a problem with finishing big chances, and all I'll say is 4 shots on target, 4 goals, lads. Yeah. We got both. So look what you said, mate. I didn't expect that whatsoever. I thought it was going to be a very, very tight game. It just, with the way that they were playing, I was expecting, especially playing away from. But at Ellen Road, you might swing a little bit, say, you know, Leeds kind of scored a couple more. But yeah, especially them playing at home, I thought it was going to be a very tight game. And in fairness, Dylan touched on it. Their game plan was completely the opposite of what I expected. I thought they were going to sit in, try and hit us on the break. And they didn't, lads. They came out, they tried to play football. They initially could have started trying to play through the lines, and then they started playing that diagonal ball, the switches over the top to try and get it over our fullbacks. And yeah, that, to be fair, I was very impressed with Swansea. I thought they were a good side. Some of the play coming out of the back as well. At times, there was a chance for us to nick it off them, and we did a couple of times when they were playing it out from the goalkeeper. But yeah, some of the play was very, very, very good. But looking for me, lads, the worrying thing was, as soon as we went to 3-3, we were all thinking away games again, like this away course that we have going on at the minute. It just seems to be never ending. So we kind of put a stop to that as well. So yeah, for me, it was a good day all round. And like that, score 4 goals. And what Matty says, the mentality to come back every time you're kicked to win the game is just, yeah, it shows how top class this team is. 100%, 100%. I mean, you'll have games, won't you, where your backs are against the wall, and as a fan, you want to see your team come through them, because, you know, heaven forbid we miss out on, you know, autos like last season. You're in playoff games. These are sort of games you need to grind out, you know, when your backs are up against the wall. You know, we've seen this season with injuries. We've come through some difficult moments. I don't think we've come through many difficult games. And I think this is one of the ones that stand out as a game where you might look back at the end of the season and go, that were a massive 3 points. That, and you know, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, not for a loss, granted. But the way a game goes can determine your mood going into the next game. And we win that 2-0, steady away, happy days. Farker's probably buzzing. As a player, the lift you'll get from scoring like that going into Wednesday is immeasurable for me. I think that just gives a whole new dynamic to the 3 points. You know, like you say, you can win ugly, you can win fantastic. Winning like that dramatic, seeing the fans, you know, when you think you've lost, it's not even a case of, you know, we were drawing for a long period of time, then we scored. We thought the game was done when they scored.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was 3-3, wasn't it?
You're on the floor. All of a sudden, a minute later, Nonto goes and does that, and the elation, the feel, the bounty, see him coming through tunnel left at game, you know, it's at camera, and they're just flying, and they'll go into Wednesday now full of confidence, and hopefully they'll start like an house on fire, like they tend to do at Ellen Road.
I think they will.
Yeah. You always call that. You always call that. Always.
Yeah. Yeah, lads, look, hopefully this is the start of our season, top of the league, and we should be pushing on now. Luton on Wednesday night, you'd expect, and I know us as Leeds fans were very expecting, but they expect us to get the 3 points against Luton and to kick on now a little bit. I really think now this should be our time now to kick on. If we are really serious about pushing on and winning this division, we really need to be kicking on now, don't we? Now that we've kind of nicked top spot, I know we're only it's on goal difference, but we really need to lay down a marker now, don't we? The lads have to have a bit between the teeth, and I think they do. And it's just the overall play like that to come back to kind of never say die attitude to pick up the 3 points, but then also the little things. Solomon getting his chance. He came up trumps, grabbed it with both hands. Willie Nanto's dropped, and then you kind of worry what's his response going to be. Is he going to, take a bit of a kick and going to be a bit down in the dumps? He was, and he came on. Look, I said it, if anyone's seen the video I put up on the Twitter, I said Willie Nanto's done nothing, and 10 seconds later he has the ball in the back of the net, and that's it. You need that magic moment, and again he's took his opportunity with both hands as well. But that's great for the team, lads, and for the squad going forward. And we've said it, everyone needs to be pushing in the right direction, and everyone needs to be pushing everyone. You just don't want every single week to go, you're starting 11 and your bench isn't really pushing that. And at the moment, lads, we can't call it. And even for Wednesday night, there probably will be shouts for Solomon to start. But again, with Daniel Farke, I wouldn't be surprised if he does kind of swap it up a little bit and change it up. And look, that's what these games are for. Gilavogi came on as well. It was absolute calmness personified for me. Thought he done very well. Great to see James De Boyo coming on. The options that we have coming off this bench, lads, is absolutely frightening. And this is without having Ampadu and Gruev back, and Ramazani was back in the squad as well. But like that, we just on the wingers, lads. It's crazy the talent that we have on the wings, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to touch on Solomon, lads. To be honest with you, how well do you think that man has not just played, but overcome the back injury, overcome the stick that he's been getting, to come on and produce a form. Sorry, to start and produce a performance like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't think he played brilliant, right? He didn't play brilliant. Dan James played brilliant, right? Mm-hmm. It was his best game in a Leeds shirt for Solomon, 100%. I thought he played well. But I love how he got in positions to score 2 goals. I mean, how many times have we said with certain players have played brilliant? Joseph can't get a goal. Nonto, like you just said then, Darren, didn't play too well. You think he hadn't done, no, pops up with a goal. They're the statistics that matter at the end of the day. It's all right playing well. You need to pop up with a goal. And for me, Solomon's been slightly getting better every sub appearance he's made. He's looked better every game. And this is by far his best game. Definitely since Hull, I would say, period, his best game for Leeds United. And I just love how Ramazani's due back. Any game now, potentially on bench, he's there. And I called it before when I spoke to you the other day, and I feel like he'd missed his opportunity while Ramazani's been injured and hasn't quite grabbed that shirt. Yeah, he did yesterday, and that's what we need. Ramazani will come back into the team. I'm pretty sure of it. But what we need is Solomon to push him as hard as he can. And yes, he couldn't have done no more yesterday. I mean, they come up with two really good finishes. Right place, right time, following run. It were really that goal that his first goal that James laid on for him. He did really well just to hold his run there. Eagerness in a moment. He could have strayed offside. He held his run and
he could have been too eager, couldn't he? Could have been too eager and got ahead of his man. Yeah.
Of course he could, Darren. But yeah, I thought Solomon was absolutely outstanding. But I just want to touch on James. I know you might bring him up anyway, obviously, but I feel like with Dan James, he's just undroppable at the minute for me. And when you looked at him, mate, yesterday, he got in so many good areas. He got 3 assists from. I don't know if they credit him with the own goal assist, but for me, it's 3 assists.
I seen Leeds said 2 assists, and everyone was just writing on there 3. Right up there as well, lads, because if you look at it back and you look at it from the far angle, Pirlo was there. Look at 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, Pirlo was tapping the ball into the net anyway. So for me, just give it to him. Give him the 2 assists. He deserves it.
How good was it that in those moments he's able finally to slow everything down and play the right ball. Like, look at that.
He never used to be able to do that, though, Matty. Do you remember? He was always tripping over himself. Couple of times during the game, he did few mad ones over the crossbar. I think he thought he was playing for Welsh rugby at some of the stages. But he has improved on that massively, and everyone's always all this Farke out, blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z. But for me, lads, Farke improves players, and under Dan James, this is the best we've seen him. Even under Bielsa. We're not even seeing the heights to what Dan James is at the minute. For about the transition that he has had there, Jaden Bogle with his defending, these 2 boys in the centre of the park, Tanaka and Rotwell, he does improve players that massively. Jorginho Rutter, his 4 seasons with Leeds United, absolutely tragic. Why did we pay 25 million for him? And we sell him there on to Brighton. So, for me, you have to give Farke his flowers with these players. He does improve players 110%, and Dan James has. That's one part of his game that majorly needed improving was this final ball. And he's done that. He's done that 110%. And the calmness there for the first goal for Solomon, because he could have easily, had a look at I think I was shooting it. I was saying it in the stream. Have a shot. And he plays it across, pure calmness for Sol. Completely unselfish, exactly what you said, mate. Totally unselfish. And yeah, brilliant play for me. Dan James was man of the match. Tanaka was great. First half, I thought he was a little bit off it. Second half, quality. But for me, overall, 90 minutes, Dan James was absolutely outstanding.
Darren, were you surprised how high their line were considering who we had playing on wings? I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe how brave they were. I really couldn't believe it.
Fair play.
That was for the one when Boyram had absolutely acres out on the left hand side. For me,
every ball was offside. I thought it's got to be offside there.
It was mind-boggling to see one of the Swansea fans was saying this has EFL have to look into this. Leeds United's 3 goals were offside. It's just like, what are you worried when you see it? That's not with the Leeds hand. They genuinely weren't. Because if you see me in the stream, I wasn't sure whether Nantos was offside because I knew it was fairly kind of close, and then it showed the replay, and it was perfectly on it. Yeah. Absolutely quality, lads. I want to touch on Boyram a little bit, lads, because I feel like, again, the more I think about Sam Boyram, he's just Mr. Consistent, lads, isn't he? He comes in, right, take Firpo out of your head. He doesn't give you what Firpo gives you. He never will give you what Firpo gives you. But my God, lads, he got up and down that pitch yesterday. For a man that has this massive injury record behind him, it just didn't faze him whatsoever. He was still galloping forward. He was absolutely sensational for me yesterday. Just Mr. Consistent, wasn't he?
He was definitely consistent. The only thing I kind of, the negative, I'm just taking the negative now so I don't have to concentrate on it, was the yellow card. It was very silly.
Yeah, silly.
I actually thought the ref was calling it back or something, a free kick or whatever it was. It was mind-boggling. And then, as I said to you there, what just happened? He said, you just blatantly handballed it. So stuff like that is a bit silly, considering how many yellow cards like Joe wrote on. Obviously, Firpo's out with suspension. But just picking up them little yellow cards along the way, a bit silly. But getting forward, is defending, is covering. He was kind of everywhere, and he kind of got involved in every single attack. If not attack, it was always on his side of the pitch. But for me, he done very well. I have to give him his flowers when he deserves. But like that, he doesn't give the same that Firpo does give. But it's also nice to play it in a different way when Firpo isn't on. That you like that if Firpo is injured or is suspended, that you can go, sure, Boyram's going to go. It gives us as fans that bit of reassurance as well, and something to not worry about.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
4 syllables for Byram. Underrated. Simple as. The fan base don't appreciate him on the whole.
Agree.
He gets a lot. He's the people do like him. I love him. I genuinely feel like he's so underrated and so undervalued by us as a fan base in general. I genuinely believe that. I mean, pound for pound for what he's cost us, which is next to no, he's got to be one of the best signings we've had in the last 2 years. I'll say that, as good as anyone for what he was worth.
I would say the best. If it wasn't for Tanaka, I'd say probably the best.
Yeah,
Tanaka probably pips that.
But he's in his own box there, isn't he? When you he's in his own lane there. When you consider free transfer, not a fancy player, but what he costs, £0. What he costs as a wage, he'll be one of the lowest wages. And what he's got in terms of, experiencing game, overcoming injuries. Why I always talk about that mental steel. Any lads that are injured, Sam Byram's man to come through. There's no Dallas there no more talking through physio. You've got someone like Byram. And when he plays, he's just dependable. And he's not picking up as many injuries because he didn't have expected to play many games. He's just a filler. So it's good to come on for last. He's basically another Gilavogi, but in defence, and he can fill in for 10, 15 minutes as a sub. You know what you're going to get from him. He's a perfect Farke player because we all know Farke's quite passive. He likes to see games out. He's a perfect player to have on the bench. We know he won't start many games, but when he comes in and plays, I honestly don't see a downside to Byram. And yesterday, he comes in and delivers a cross with his left foot and gets an assist, which is something you want to see from a left back, and he ain't got that in his locker, people say.
And I suppose he hasn't got a left foot.
Apparently not. For me, I don't see a downside to him at all. I don't understand why people don't rate him. You back up left back / right back. He covers 2 positions. He's never going to be as good as your starting left back and right back. And they're not supposed to be, lads. They're not supposed to be as good as them. No. They're supposed to be there. You have people who challenge. If we go up next season, we keep Firpo. Hopefully we do. You want someone in as good, if not better, and they can challenge it. Byram ain't that. Byram knows his role. He ain't going to moan about it. If he don't play for 10 games, you're going to get no attitude from him. He's a perfect backup player, and I don't see the issue with him at all, lads. I don't think you can sum it up any better, if I'm honest. That's it.
Nail on the head. Yeah,
he's perfect.
Nail on the head. Yeah, 100% agree. Love it. Absolutely love it from Sam Boyram. And long may it continue. I'd love to see him because obviously all them years ago when he was in a very bad Leeds side. You know, the team was kind of being ripped up, best player sold. It was heartbroken to see Sam Boylan going, but to see him back now, and hopefully I'd love to see him get a promotion under his belt with Leeds United. I'm sure he'd love that as well. You know, coming straight through the Leeds academy himself.
Would you have him around the squad next season as well?
I think so, mate. Look, you don't want them, but you need them around the dressing room. You need these type of players. There was a lot of, when Cooper and Aylan and Dallas, there was a lot of this, you know, get rid of the old guard. You can't do it, lads. You can't just everyone with all the experience push them out the door. You can't do it. And you could see, lads, I think we actually suffered for a while after Luke Aylan left the dressing room. I think there was no kind of leadership there, and Cooper was out the side. And you need that. You need leaders. You need someone that's been there. And I think Gillavogi's given that. Fark touched on it yesterday, that he obviously got them all together and, you know, kind of rallied the troops before the game. You need that, lads. That's massive. That's absolutely massive. The players.
I'm still on the fence about Luke Aylan. Luke Aylan shouldn't have left. I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's all hindsight. I think Aylan was probably told his position, you know, very similar to Boylan, I would imagine, lads, which is agreed that he was kind of told that when the opportunity is called upon, you be on here, but, you know, Archie Gray is doing a job here, you're not going to be in here. And I think Aylan, and he's been proved right, probably felt like, no, I can give a little bit more than what I'm giving now. And
100%.
look, I'd love to see Luke Aylan still here, 110%. I think we all would, but yeah, look, he obviously took the decision he wanted to move on, and look, it's been proven that he's a quality. He's the captain now there as well, and he's putting in great performances. So yeah, I don't begrudge Luke Aylan whatsoever. But I just want to move on to, lads, the middle of the park yesterday. We touched on Tanaka and Rotwell a lot yesterday. I'm sure we'll get on to Tanaka as well. But Joe Rotwell, what did you make of his performance yesterday? Matt, you'll come to you first, buddy.
Steady without being fantastic. I thought he did what he had to do. It was quite an open game. We didn't have control of the game as much as we normally do. Obviously, we didn't have as much possession, hence why it won't have looked as good. You know, we're used to him having a lot of ball, starting attacks, pushing up, carrying ball, but, you know, they stifled, you know, long periods of that game, and they controlled. You have to say they controlled large periods. You know, they had more possession than us, which doesn't happen very often. But for me, it was steady. A couple of stray passes, but it was all right for me. Just not his usual self. But like I said, that was just the game state. I don't think that was personally a bad game. I just think it was game state, mate. I just think, you know, we play Wednesday night, say we have 70% of possession, he looks wildy again. You know what I mean? That's, for me, when he has the ball, he's going to look like that. And I just feel like they did a number on us in terms of possession, and I wasn't expecting it. So I think Tanaka stood out more because there were a lot more defensive duties to do, and obviously he's going to be the better of the two in that instance. But I don't know how you feel, lads, but I don't know if he's getting stick or if people are saying he played well. To be fair, I've not really heard much, but I thought it was just steady, but all right. Yeah,
I thought he was a bit kind of up and down. Go on, I'll go to you first, buddy.
Exactly what you were going to say there. Sorry, I told you the stories again. He was steady on to a certain degree. Certain things that he was kind of annoying me. But just there kind of popped into my head, going back to what you said about them playing such a high line. I think that was kind of the problem, because he had to kind of drop back a lot. Considering when we did get the ball, he hadn't got so much room to move, if that makes sense, because he's the type of person he likes to dribble. It was kind of one of them things. But what Matty said there, he was steady on, he done okay, he done a job. But yesterday, for me, both of them, the midfield itself, kind of annoyed me at times. But as I said,
especially that first half as well, we never really seemed to kind of take hold of it in the middle of the park, did we? And that was bypassing our midfield a lot, I felt. And it was probably a lot to do with Swansea playing that over the top ball. You know, they were playing them. First of all, they were trying to, I think probably the first 5-10 minutes, they were trying to play the intricate pass in between the lines, and then it didn't really work for them. So they decided just to play the pass, and it did work again. That worked for a while. So we kind of start bypassing our midfield, but then we start doing it as well. Something that we haven't really seen from Leeds is that kind of crossfield ball, and Strike was doing it an awful lot, kind of Calvin Phillips-esque, where he was kind of making that switch. We've never really seen that from a Fark side. He kind of likes to keep it, you know, won't play the long kind of 50% ball. He'll always want to try and keep it, and we did that a little bit more yesterday, I felt. So that, touching on that might have a lot to do with the midfield in the first half, but second half, then I thought the two of them came into it really well.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It was really nice. I wanted to see Pascal stepping up and playing some of those balls that you expect from your midfield. You know, I thought Pascal's passing were just unreal yesterday. You know, you normally see that from a Tanaka or, you know, usually a Rothwell stepping up there and playing those kind of passes, but it was so nice to see Stroud pushing up and, you know, that first one, what he played through to James, he was practically on the halfway line, takes it in, wins ball, deflects back to him, and just plays a beautiful ball through his right foot, which, you know, as a left-footed centre-half, you've got no right to do, really, but he was fantastic. But we know he's got that in locker. You know, Stroud could probably make an all-right centre-mid if he played there for a string of games. He did under Bielsa for a period of time, and, you know, ball-playing centre-halves is not much better than that, but yeah, I feel like maybe Rothwell didn't stand out as much because Pascal played 2 worldy passes, and usually you'd expect that from your centre mid, wouldn't you? But just wanted to touch on Pascal. He's unreal.
Yeah,
What a class
Pascal
player.
was quality.
You call him a Rolls Royce, don't you? That's how you call him. But.
Yeah, I just think Pascal is outstanding, lads. I love him, and to be honest with you, I think he's more captain material than he is Ampadu. Might be controversial, but that's just my opinion. I just think he's absolutely outstanding as Pascal strike. He'll always do a job for his defending, his reading of the game. I think what more excites me about it is that you can see that he can have that step up to the Premier League as well. He reads the game so well, and he's not rapid, but he is quick for a centre half. Same thing with Joe Rodon. He can move as well. He's very, very similar to me for Van Dijk. Obviously not near the quality, but you know what I mean. That kind of the reading of the game, the control and the calmness that he brings to the side. Little mistake yesterday. Look, it cost us a little bit for the goal, but it's one of them things. But for me, strike was outstanding yesterday. Some of his little through balls and intricate passing for me was quality, and yeah, he has a great eye as well. So yeah, absolutely love Pascal.
If you want to build a modern day centre half in a lab, he'd look like Pascal Stroud. Yeah. It's just up to him.
He's a beast. He's a beast as well. He's real build, real broad.
The sexy pirate.
He is, mate. He is.
Absolutely love it.
It's like something like a 2024 version of Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what he's looking like.
Pirates of the Caribbean on steroids. Love it. Lads, I just want to touch on his centre-back partner then, Joe Rodon, because I think at the start of the season we were all getting a little bit worried. The performance he was putting in wasn't too great. Well, nothing really kind of directly leading to any kind of goals, but not the Joe Rodon that we knew and that we had on loan last season. I think we're all a little bit nervous now that we've signed him, that he wasn't going to hit that standard again. But he has came back into his own, hasn't he, lads, over the last couple of weeks. That him and Strike, that partnership has really grown. What have you thought of Rodon so far, lads? Dilo, if you want to go.
I think it's the hair, to be honest with you. He's trying to cover the ball, and it's like myself, and it's really starting to get to him. You know, now he's a warrior on the pitch, lads.
Yeah.
You know, I think going back, we did say a couple of weeks ago, last season when Ampadu was in the centre half position beside him, I think it was the trust and the honesty in a Welsh man like him, and that kind of trust, and you kind of got Ampadu doing the dirty work, and you know, but it takes time. These things take time, and I think Strike now, as you said, Darren, you hit the nail on the head, has that leadership quality in him, and I think that's something now Rodon is starting to kind of realise, that he never does call the shots, but I think Strike is kind of leading him in that direction. He does silly things, like, but he is solid. Definitely, he's a solid centre back to have. I think he just hasn't shown his true quality yet, if I'm being honest. But he has been playing good games. The odd nick here or there, but he's been steady on. I think you just give him time, if I'm being completely honest with you. As well as that, like Bogle, you know, we touched on it a while ago. With Archie Gray was kind of getting higher up the pitch, and he kind of had that trust as well. It's building all this kind of trust with the players around him. New midfield, obviously, Ampadu being out as well. It's just a new thing for Rodon to adjust to. But I think he's actually handled it very well, if I'm being honest with you. You know,
and Bogle's been outstanding as well, lads. He's really picked it up, hasn't he, for me, Jayden Bogle. He was really good again yesterday. Kind of the unsung heroes for me. I thought Bogle was class. His defending, lads, I know I keep banging the drum, but yeah, his defending has really picked up for me. He's a lot more conscious now, isn't he? He's not just, you know, a flying wing back now that doesn't care what's in behind him. He's really cautious now what's behind him now. What do you think of that? Because again, it has to be Daniel Farke. It has to be one thing that Farke's probably said to him, look, you're brilliant going forward. We need that out of you, but you need to be mindful of what's going on behind you. What have you thought of Jayden Bogle?
I think he's the best right back in the league, lads.
Yeah, I think so.
Being honest, very controversial.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, Matty, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, he's one of my question marks for Premier League, I'll be honest. But in a bit like Firpo would be, you know, you don't know how they're going to be defensively against world-class wingers, because that's hardest position to defend probably.
Especially Premier League, yeah.
Yeah, so. But I think he's massively improved. I mean, there were no question about his attacking ability. Sheffield United fans told us that. They were gutted he went. He's definitely stepped it up at back though now. I think it definitely helps having Dan James with him, the form Dan James is in at minute. He probably doesn't have to overlap him. That he probably doesn't even try overlapping Dan James. At what point? I mean, when Dan James is on that side, he's that quick and he's that mobile. He can cover, that offensive half on his own. But I feel like, when he's there, Bogle don't have to overlap as much, like I say. And I feel like defensively, he's just improved massively. And for someone who, and I remember the first few games of the season, he were getting out jumped because he ain't a big lad, but now he even wins headers. Like, I just feel like he's got a bit between his teeth now. And like you say, well, only area he really had to work on, and it hasn't took him long, has it? That first month were a bit ropey, although he showed flashes going forward. I feel like maybe, he should have had a few assists. I don't think he's got an assist this season, has he? I'm sure he should have had a couple early on.
He definitely has a goal. Anyway, he definitely got a goal.
Yeah, he got a goal, but I don't think he got. There were a couple of assists early in the season. He set Alan stood up for that one where you built with fence, and he missed that one. And there's been a few moments where he'd have a few more assists if it would have been more clinical. But I feel like that side of his game's always there. If you're good with ball at feet, you're good at getting up and down. That's never going to go. But that one-on-one defending is something you need to work on and work hard in training. And you got to think a lot of confidence issues as well. Been in Premier League, we know what it was like getting battered every single. When you're 1/5 of that defensive unit for any side in world football, if you're conceding 3s and 4s and 5s most weeks,
has to take an impact, doesn't it?
Of course it does. He's an attacking right back, but he's still part of that defensive unit, and he was one of their better players, but he's still conceding a lot of goals. So I just think that drop down, the weight of the Leeds shirt, it's a big rivalry to move from club to club. All that heartache are coming down.
He's touched on it. He said Leeds are the biggest club they play for. You could feel it, the expectation, the fan base, everything. I don't know if you've seen the interview, lads, but quality you could see by him. He's genuinely delighted to be here. He touched on it and he said that just the difference in mentality. He said just now kind of second best. It's week in, week out that you have to win games. The pressure is on you all the time. He's touched on it, and it might be that probably just took him by surprise, lads. And I know, look, might be harsh on Sheffield United that, but he probably just felt that, like, the fan base around Leeds United, like that one club City, he was probably just like, whoa,
How many times do people say, Darren, I thought Leeds were a big club, I knew Leeds were a big club, but now I'm here, oh my God, I can't believe how big Leeds are. You hear it all the time? Yeah, you
hear it all the time, 100%. Right, lads, I want to move on to obviously probably the main talking point, the unsolved mystery that's still Joe Pirro and Matteo Joseph.
It's solved, I've told you this, it's solved, Darren. It's solved.
I think he's rumbling on, lads. He's Firecats to solve that for me, lads. But we'll go to Joe Pirro first, lads. Anyway, disappointing day, would you say, for Joe Pirro? Didn't really kind of get involved too much. No opportunities. I know, look, you need to be kind of set up your strikers to go. But again, I think it's all around play. Just the little things. I think at one stage on the stream, I called him trampoline for just hopping off him, lads. He couldn't control it whatsoever. Matty, what was your thoughts on Joe Pirro yesterday?
But I was shocked, Darren. End of game, whistle blows, Pirro's not scored. Pirro's probably not had a good game then, has he? I can't remember last time he played well, whether he scores or he doesn't, but when he scores, it's forgiven, you know what I mean? Because he's usually got his winning goal.
Probably Norwich in the second leg, he'll tell you, it's all around play and all. Fair enough. Scoring over, it's all around play.
He'll have moments, mate. He'll have had games, that much football in this league.
Of course, yeah.
You forget from time to time, but in general, very rare do we say Pirro were brilliant today. Pirro got man of match today. Very rare. But his goals to game ratio, his minutes ratio, he deserved. Like I said he deserved to start this game. Yeah. But I also knew there was a big chance it wouldn't work out. And like I say, when I say it's solved, for me, you know how I feel about it. I do think this. Then this is why I think it. I think Joseph should start and Pirro should come on for 20-25 minutes. And it's just hard to go along with that if Pirro's scoring game after game. Obviously, it's like any position. Like Nonto comes out and he gets replaced by Solomon, and now you've got that issue again. But why not keep Nonto on bench if he comes on and does that reaction? Like, for me, no player's not droppable.
Undroppable. Yeah.
You get a reaction out of players, and certain players perform well with that, a bit between the teeth. And Pirro's definitely one of them players. We've seen it, and obviously. And Nonto, obviously, you can say the same about him. He didn't play too well when he came on, but gets that goal. And what I do want to touch on, I know we were touching on Pirro and Joseph, but it's sort of linked with substitutions. He gets a lot of stick, does Farker, for subs, and rightly so, with timing of them. You can sort of predict them to a degree. But I tell you what, that's the 7th goal scored by a substitute, joint top out of any club in this division. So tell me what Farker's doing wrong. 7 goals from a substitute. He's the one that makes those calls. He's the one that's dropped these players to bench. Pirro might have got, I think Pirro's got 5 of them granted. Yeah, he's the one that's had bullets to drop him onto the bench, even though everyone's saying he should be starting over Joseph.
Especially with Nonto, lads. We were all talking about Matty, and you said it not so long ago, is that it kind of feels like Nonto was undroppable, wasn't he? That if he was fit, that he kind of had to play, and I didn't think Farker would have the the cojones that dropped on Tony. He did yesterday, and look, it proved that it worked. But I do totally agree with you, Matty, that it probably is time to go back to Matteo Joseph up top, because it was working that way. But granted, Pirro was coming off the bench, and like that, it did kind of get to a stage where, look, he kind of warrants to start now, because he was kind of scoring. He started obviously against Sunderland, got his goal against Sunderland, so I think that's kind of what kept the ball rolling with that. But I think probably after yesterday's performance, I think Fark gave his trust in Joe Pirro yesterday, expecting a good performance from him yesterday, and I don't think he gave that. And I think we might see Matteo Joseph on Wednesday night. I think we should see Matteo Joseph on Wednesday night, and Pirro coming off the bench again. Look, that's just my opinion, but it's yet to be solved. Dilla, what did you think, Pirro?
I said it, and I'm not like blowing the bubble here when I say this, but I did say that Joseph should have started against Swansea, and everyone's saying, "Oh, it's his former club," and etc. Dan James done it. He grabbed it by the horns and he just outplayed everyone, as far as I can see. Pirro didn't. Going back to what I said about the Rotwell situation, it could be because their line was so high. Now, the reason why I didn't want to start Pirro is because we've always said that Joseph has that press in him and he's running around like a headless chicken. But the other fact is, when he did come on, this is a confidence thing now for him, because when he came on, lads, he done nothing. He didn't even run his normal self. He done absolutely nothing. And I do agree with you, Darren, to a certain degree that he should start Wednesday. But now that fear's in the back of my head saying, is he starting to kind of say now, here now, you know, you're not starting me week in, week out, because Pirro now's had a bad game now, you're giving me that kind of option.
It just depends on training, lads. I think Farke now is massively going to be looking at training the attitude of Matteo Joseph. Like that, exactly there. Dallahide hit the nail on the head for me. I thought he was very lacklustre when he came on, Matteo Joseph, which is something that we haven't seen from him, lads.
That is word
his pressing.
Like that word.
Lacklustre.
Lacklustre.
His pressing is usually absolutely outstanding. He's run about, not very headless like the way Brendan Aronson would be, but you know, it's good and it works, and for me it's probably a really, really good side of the game we have, and something that we missed. But yeah, I think we have to go back to Matteo Joseph, lads. Would you agree with that on Wednesday? Matty, you saying that as well, Matteo Joseph Wednesday?
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think none of us are too arsed who starts. When we see, you know, you can, like say, Pirro can start and he can play well now and again. He might come over goal. I don't feel like if I see Pirro starting Wednesday, I won't be annoyed. If I see Joseph start, I won't be elated. For me, you know, either or, you get something different. And you know how I feel. It should be Joseph, I think, because if you look over the season, the periods of the runs we've gone and stuff, you know, that tends to work better. But like I say, I aren't too bothered either way. I think we've got enough quality in and around the striker. I mean, for me, Pirro didn't do no wrong as such. He just couldn't get in game. He just couldn't get going. It was like he didn't even have a striker playing, yet we still scored 4 goals. You get me? So it's like, when you've got players as talented as that, you know, I aren't really bothered who starts. But for me, I do think it's now gone full circle, and now it's Joseph's turn again. I feel like that's how they sort of play it, you know. Yeah.
This one's for you, Matty.
Yeah, unsubscribe. I'm only messing. Bamford, so I haven't seen you before in chat, Villa Hyde. Thanks for being here. The best up and coming show on YouTube. But yeah, Bamford shouldn't touch grass for me, mate, at all. Unless he's off to Amsterdam, he can touch as much as he wants. But for me, it's just.
Matty's on a roll here tonight.
What is Bamford, lads? Yeah, it's he used to do the stuff that we see Joseph do. Yeah, he used to press, run, hold the ball up, all the stuff Joseph can do. Yeah, he can't finish. So why are we wanting to replace Joseph with an older version of himself, if that's what you're going to compare him to? Plus, I've seen him in spells this season, back in the last season, his legs have gone, he can't do that running no more. And like I say, he's not a threatening box anyway. So for me, you know, I'd let him go at the earliest opportunity, Bamford. And I hope he goes on and has a really good end to his career. I wish him no but the best. But yeah, it's just not for me, Bamford. I don't see any upside in him playing. And if we get an injury at one of them two, Joseph or Pirro, I will be worried. And I know, like Danny keeps saying, he'll come in January. And yes, last January, his 14-game unbeaten run, he was a massive part of that. And yes, I give him his flowers when that was the case. But we're 12 months further on. He's had a couple of injuries again since that.
Well, that's it, because we were on Joe's inter-match reactions. We had JT live on and Joe Blackburn, who were very vocal and very supportive of Bamford yesterday, saying to give him on. Especially Joe Blackburn had a lot of facts to back it up, and I understand where he was coming from, because he was a massive part of that, lads, and the turn and in that run, what you said, mate, that 13-14 game unbeaten run. quality. The goals he scored against Peterborough, brilliant. As what about all the other games before that? Before that 14 games, how many times he let us down? Many opportunities, they all come flooding back. Leicester chances, Newcastle, Stoke away, the penalty. We've seen it numerous times where Bamford has been given these opportunities and he doesn't score goals. And it's always this thing. Well, at least he's in the position to do it. I'm just like, that it doesn't work like that. You can't show up to work and say and make howlers every day where to go. Oh, look, at least you showed up. Do you know what I mean? For me, it has to come to a point where you have to cut ties with it. I think we've touched on it. I think Bamford's time is 100% gone at Leeds United. He needs to move on. I echo exactly what Matty says. We do have a bit of laugh about it, but it's just everything that goes with it. It's not even the player and the injuries. I just feel like his kind of mentality, the way he is, and it's a massive part of the game, is that he's doing all this podcast and all now. I just don't feel he's 100% behind Leeds United and in it, if that makes sense. And we've touched on it so many times. I want everyone to be on it.
What can he do? What's he bring to the table that Joseph doesn't?
He talks shit about Leeds on his podcast.
What's he doing that Joseph done?
It seems to be very divided out, lads. And remember, I touched on a couple of weeks ago that as long as this rumbles on the Joseph and Pirro thing, that the conversation is going to be more and more from the fan base. I'm still going to, I know if you ask me again in 4 weeks' time, I'm still going to say I don't want Bamford in the side. But the longer it rumbles on and the longer Pirro or Joseph don't grab the shirt, there is going to be the fan base creeping back in and go Bamford.
Why is this striker talk even a conversation though, right? I feel like we need a topic to talk about when we do this stuff, and I know it's everywhere, so we've got to talk about it. I talk about it, you guys do, everybody does, right? But we've scored the second most in league.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant there from Leeds. Troy, we've on a minute. Made that, mate.
Unfortunately, Bamford isn't up to it anymore. Doesn't look mobile like he once was. His running and physicality was. Yeah, 100%.
His body's not up to it anymore.
No,
he can't do it.
We saw the best. We saw.
So if he comes back in, right? Sorry for coming across, Matty. Right, best case scenario. Bamford comes back in. He puts him in against Luton. Yep. Does brilliant. Scores 2 goals. We're all praising him. Told you, Bamford, right? Then he comes in against Blackburn. Blackburn has another good game. Scores another goal. And then he gets injured. And then he's gone again. You're back to square one. Do you know what I mean? He's not reliable, and that's the main thing. And you said it, Matty, and it's one thing I remember you saying is his best ability is availability, and he's just not that. So whatever ability that he has, whatever people think that he still has, his pressing or whatever it may be, he's just never fit. He's never fit, and he's always going to get injured for me. So we need to find a solution. Farke is trying to do it. You can see he's trying to stay away from the whole Bamford situation because we've had it for so long, and we have a really good thing here going with Pirro and Joseph. One of them just needs the cojones to stand up. But I do agree with you, mate.
Do you genuinely think one of them has to stand up? Because for me, we've scored the second amount of goals in the league. We're top of the league. Does it really matter? I mean,
I'd rather just one of them, Matty, where one of them is kind of playing where one of them's a starter. Like the best part of it this season was when Pirro or when Joseph was starting and Pirro was coming off the bench. That's when it felt solid. That's when it felt good. Yeah. That's when it felt like it was working. I think since we've gone back to the Pirro situation, it hasn't worked. Against Millwall and stuff like that, Pirro just wasn't up to it. And I think it's then we take goals and all that out. I think it's a general all round play is when it starts breaking down. Then, do you know what I mean? So there needs to be, some sort of. Say, look, if we're going to start Pirro at home, say, against the Leicester side, it's fine, no problem at all. But I think we all agree against them sides, like Millwall, stuff like that, you need to be starting Mateo Joseph. He just gives you that press, to hold the play. His touch is way better. So it's in them scenarios, the general all-round play. I'm thinking, I'm not just goals, because we know Pirro can score goals.
Yeah. If
Joseph can start scoring goals, I think he'd be unbelievable. And I do think there's a player in there, 100%. His ceiling is a lot higher than Joe Pirro for me. Yeah, but it's not that it's a major thing, lads. It's not like either of them aren't doing it. They're both doing it at a sufficient level. They're both, doing well. They're contributing 100%. But I want one of them. I just want one of them to just say, no, I'm the number one. Do you know what I mean? And at time, it's still going to change. It's still going to change through the season. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry. Joseph's the better profile for us how we play. Do you think you need someone who can run for days and press, and it's just that finishing he needs, or do you think we need a big 6'6"?
Thanks, John.
What do you think we need as a striker? Do you think Joseph fits the bill as a profile?
I just think, Matty, different horses for different courses. We've said it so many times, and I think at times Farke has got it wrong. And there's times that we've got it wrong because we were all shouting for Pirro to start yesterday, and he did start. And he did do well. And then, Dylan was saying Joseph. So it's going to swing. One half of the fan base is going to say Pirro, other half of the fan base are going to say Joseph, and that's just the way. Pirro, man. That's just the way it's going to be. But exactly what Dylan said there. Are we getting to a stage there where it starts to them? Because for me, yesterday, lads, Aronson was legging it around the place and his quality wasn't too good. you know, we can go through
But
it
he
now.
needs a rest.
Not
He
on the 10,
needs-
Solomon
he
in the
needs-
10. Why not try it? Why not try Joseph in the 10? Why not try it midweek?
Something needs to be done about that 10 role. Like, Aronson hasn't done anything wrong, but he also hasn't done anything drastically right. You know, Joseph, Nando, or Solomon, something needs to go into that 10 role to give us that bit more. Yeah, Aronson does the press when Pirro is on, but like that Darren, you're always saying, you know, when it's out on the wings, you need to be putting it to Pirro's feet in the box, you know, hitting Pirro every single time. And I feel like Joseph will pull and drag the defenders all over the place. Do you know that kind of way? That will free Pirro up a little bit more for, you know, a tap in or anything like that, you know. But I genuinely think Joseph should start in the 10, Pirro up top. But then at the same time, then you're kind of, you know, if you did start Solomon and James out on the right, it wouldn't be all right. Yeah, I was just about to say, I was Nanto in the 10 as well. That's a serious front four with Pirro, Nanto, Solomon, and James.
You know what it is, dog? You know what it is, though, Dilla? I don't even see that. I think Solomon will eventually be on bench. But for me, I don't think many people... I don't like using the word drop for Aronson because he's played really well and, you know, 4 goals, that can't be underestimated. 4 goals, he's the second top goal scorer. He's playing well considering he ain't really a goal scorer in 10 for me. But when you look at it, I wouldn't say drop Aronson, but I reckon you end up, though, let's be fair, Ramazani will come back and be a starter on left, yeah? And the way Dan James is...
If he earns it.
Droppable, they're going to have to find Nonto a role somewhere. And Aronson, looking at that side now, is the easy one to take out. And I think Parker's probably waiting for a period of time. I don't know if he thinks like this, but I'm looking at it now and a bit like we did with Joseph, you start him. All of a sudden, 3 or 4 games in, you're like, I'll give him another couple. Like Aronson now's in that sort of murky water where he's not playing bad, he's not. But another game where maybe he don't get an assist or another game where he's and it's an easy decision then, right, we'll take, just like he did with Nonto, because Nonto's been a bit meh last few games, we'll take him out. And if Aronson gets took out for a game or two, to freshen it up, rotate, and Nonto gets that tension, I reckon you're going to see Nonto fly. And I think that's the only way we can get our best players in the side. James, Nonto, Ramazani. And I think that's the best combination going forward with Joseph up front. But like you say, we'll see. Farker might have a different opinion on that. There'll be other injuries that we haven't factored in yet. Dan James tends to get a knock every 7 or 8 games, as it proved last season. We'll have to see how it goes. But I think it'll end up where we won't drop Aronson. I just think Dan James, if he stays fit, will play himself into a starting role, and they've got to get Nonto in long term. That'll be how I think that's how we'll be in. I think in 6 weeks that's where we'll be, lads. At Christmas, I reckon that's how it's front four.
Then with that, that obviously has a knock-on effect because Aronson is massive to what this team is outputting at the minute, our pressing style and you know the closing down. So if you're taking Brendan Aronson out of this team and you're putting Willie Nonto in the 10, surely you can't still be starting with Joe Pirro up top then, because there'd be no press then, it'd be non-existent then through the middle. You'll still get your wingers doing it then. Dan James, of course, is 100% going to do it. Ramazani does it as well. Even Solomon done it a bit yesterday. But geez, lads, and you're not going to get the press in Nonto and Pirro, then, you know, it completely bypasses them boys. Would you say that then? Like, unless something drastic happens. But for me, Nonto presses, but it's not.
Depends what you want, though, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I can't really say I can remember much about the Norwich side. I remember the players, but Buendia wrote a press like Aronson. Did it matter?
Yeah. That's what I'm going to say, because Fark, usually his sides are very good at kind of, you know, pressing, not up to like the Bielsa kind of standard, but he does like his teams to press. He does 100%. Then do we change that up then? Are we letting them have it then? Are we saying that then, right, we're not going to put the press on, we're going to let them engage us, and then when it comes in then to the midfield, then we're going to start engaging them, because then that completely changes up our game plan, how we're going to play, you know, the personnel that plays it, the formation that we play, you know what, everything has a knock-on effect. When you take someone out of the team, it might just be, well, he had a shite game and take him out, but you don't realise the knock-on effect the player that you're bringing in, how it affects the other players around them. And that's what I'm massive about, that you have to be looking at situations like that. If you're going to bring in Nonto in the 10 for me, well then I think you're going to have to start Joseph there. That's just my opinion, unless we're going to change it up and say, right, we're not going to engage the press, we're going to leave them with it, and then when they come into, you know, our midfield, then we can press them fine, no problem at all. But it's them little things where it only seems like a little tweak, but it's major, has a massive impact across the whole squad. You know what I mean? And it's even what we were saying about when, I think it was a column I was saying about going 4-3-3 when Amadou comes
Yeah,
back in, and then I was saying, well, then about the fullbacks, then you're not going to get Fairpont Bogle bomber forward down because you need them to kind of sit in. Then they're not going to be, as progressive of what we're seeing them. So everything will have a knock-on effect on each individual player if you change formation, personnel, systems, tactics, everything. Like that's the way football is.
Sometimes a little tweak's enough as well, and it's sometimes just a little tweak. And
Just
I
a
mean,
little one, yeah.
last season, I think like Archie Gray playing right back, Kamara playing in midfield. I feel like last season he didn't have the full tools, mate, and he got don't get me wrong, we had a lot of quality, and we maybe should have gone up, but I feel like there's no excuses this year. I feel like he's got every single key for that door, and he's just got to find the right key to open that door. I feel like he's got everything he needs. He's like, you've just gone through there, mate. A couple of tweaks, a couple of different ideas, and he can change that team from one to another, whether it's personnel, whether it's sitting back and letting them a ball and jump on a counter. He's got a player or players for every single scenario in a game now. When we lead him by a goal, he can bring on Gilavogi, he can bring on Byram. We didn't have that last season. He's got every single key to open this door, which is promotion. And it's just whether he finds that right combination. For me, you've nailed it there with all those little bits you've just said there.
It's a great way of putting it, mate, to be honest.
It's mental, lads. It's mental. It feels like we're after winning 3-2. We're top of the league. Everything's great and it's rosy at the minute. And it feels like it kind of seems like we're being like a little bit negative, but it's not being a little bit negative. It's just it's trying to critique exactly because you want Leeds United to play the best kind of swashbuckling football, and it feels like we haven't hit them heights. It still feels like there's a lot more to come for this team. For me, I don't know about you lads. I feel like there's a lot more output to come for this team, especially the quality that we have. And like what you said, mate, I just think it is just one or two of them little tweaks, and I could see us absolutely flying. Fark might do that, and we might have already seen it already coming into this run up, but. The start of this conversation, that doesn't involve Patrick Bamford for me. No way. So just leave him out because that's obviously how we got into all this. But
I don't even want to talk about him. Just annoys me.
Yeah. Anyone else to add? I think we've gone through the whole line up there.
I think we'll just go through on to the Luton. I mean, what way they're gonna set up?
We'll touch on Luton. Well, we're obviously doing our build up tomorrow. Yeah, we will be doing our match build up tomorrow for Luton. It's Wednesday night then that was on. Matty, what do you think heading into Luton? Bit of a weird one from Luton, isn't it? I didn't expect them to be down kind of to that low, did you? I thought they were going to be up there, but it seemed like they've really fallen off.
100%. I mean, I've not really looked into. Obviously, you'll probably do the same as me. I'll have a little look into Luton maybe tomorrow morning to get a few. Obviously I've seen the league table, I've seen the results, but I also know they've still got a lot of capable players. They've got players.
Yeah.
They didn't really invest when they went to Premier League, granted, hence why they come back down after giving it a good arm wrestle. But they haven't really lost anyone as they've come down either. So they've got the players, and they've still got the same manager, haven't they, Rob Edwards? So they've
he's still there, yeah.
With them, and you just never know. We talk about all the time going to London midweek. They're coming up north midweek. You just never know. We need to make sure. Like I say, I feel like if we'd have drawn that game in 90th minute, we don't come back. I'd have been fearful for Wednesday, but I just feel like we'll be bouncing in a Wednesday, and I feel like that's going to give us an edge, and I think we'll start really fast, and I don't think they'll be able to live with us. But you can never, write off a side that were only in Premier League last season who hasn't lost any star players really. So there's a touch of that, and it's a midweek game. It's got a nervy side to it. Like I say, I'll look at into their how they play a bit more in depth tomorrow. But just off what I know as a football fan, you can't rule them out, and I don't expect them to be where they are now at the end of the season. I don't think they'll make playoffs, and they're too far off that, but I expect them to get safe and push up the table a little bit. But if Leeds do Leeds, as we know at Ellen Road, if I'm honest, I'm going to call it now. I don't think we'll get beat again at Ellen Road this season, and I don't think that's a ridiculous call to make.
Right, please be careful, please.
You know what I get like, lads, so just let me have this game. I just can't help myself, right? But
it's not going to like my response.
Is it ridiculous to say we went all the way through till what? March, April last year.
In March, wasn't it? Yeah, March. Was it Blackburn? Blackburn was the first one, wasn't it?
Middlesbrough's the only one I fear now. We played Burnley home, played Sheffield United, but you look at Middlesbrough, and that's the one I worry about. We get through Middlesbrough, and I think we'll go unbeaten. We won't win every game, but I just feel any side coming to Ellen Road, they're not going to score, more than a goal for me. We hold the ball so well. Our centre halves pretty much play a full game on our halfway line. They have done for months. So it's one of them. I just can't decide if it's going to be a 3-0 win like I normally tip, or if it's going to be a tight one. But I think we'll win, lads. I think we'll win.
Delo, what do you think?
You're going to pay for all of mine.
Lads, remember back to Millwall.
I'm just thinking,
Luton This is going to sound strange, but Luton are like similar to us. Not the way they play, not the setup or anything like that. They're just a passionate club, like us as fans, like towards them. Or towards the club, sorry. And what Matty said there, to a certain degree, it's either going to be a 3-0 win for Leeds or a scrappy 1-0 for Luton. And that's it.
I think 2-0 Leeds. I think 2-0 Leeds. I think they were on a high. I think the players will be buzzing after that yesterday. I really, really do. They're all pushing in the right direction, and it shows it with Solomon and Nanto coming on and giving a bit. Byram doing his bit as well. I see Leeds winning this 2-0, lads, and I can see it's kind of hopefully kind of be putting in a good performance. I just want to take us back a little bit, and I'm just mindful because I know Matty's bouncing over to Joe's final word, so I'm sure anyone out here is bouncing across, but make sure you go across to Matty and Imagine Not Being Leeds and hit that subscribe button, lads. I just want to bring us back a little bit because it was something that I wanted to bring up. What did you make, lads, when we were 3-2 up yesterday, of the tactics that Leeds employed? Because I feel like we really, really took the foot off the gas big time, lads, and sat in.
Yeah.
Appalling.
Is that the players or is that Daniel Farkas? Because we've seen it a couple of times and it's starting to get a little bit worrying, lads, when it doesn't feel like the game is fully home and housed and we just sit in, lads. What do you think it is?
He mentioned it, the Farkas, in his press conference today, didn't he? I don't know if you saw that, but he mentioned about how the lads played when they were in lead. Like it was a player issue. Like they just, I can't recall. I ain't going to try and quote what he said, but he mentioned it, which made me think it's not his tactic, but I still believe it is. You know, I think we've seen it too many times for it not to be. I mean, these players, these front players we've got are exciting players, and especially that midfield we've got now, they're so attacking. I don't see it being something they all say on pitch, you know, right, lads, that's it. I just don't see it. It's got to be a Farkas. It's got to come from that bench. And, you know, honestly, I was so annoyed, and I love Farkas, and a lot of people want him gone. I don't at all. I think it's crazy. But it is so annoying when, honestly, when we scored, even before we scored, there were like a 10-minute spell around each goal we scored where they were there for taking, and just eases you back. And I always say it's so trivial, but like, you know, the best form of defense is just keep attacking. Like, do what got you a 3-2, go make it 4, go kill game.
You feel like Farkas lives by the whole saying that you're most vulnerable when you've just scored. Do you think he kind of lives and dies with that? Because that seems to that. It feels like we kind of. We have our foot on the team's necks, and we never just seem to kind of drive it home. We just seem to kind of let them up and, you know, stand back up again. It's
the lazy way.
It's not a lazy way, because we never used to do it, but we definitely do it a lot under Daniel Farkas, and it's very frustrating. Because that's what it is, mate. That's what I feel like it is. I feel like there's times where we could just finish off teams, and especially you hit the nail on the head, mate. Yesterday when we went 3-2 up, for about 10 minutes we were pushing, and it was like we weren't really bothered to score a goal. Matteo Joseph had a chance as well when he nicked it off the keeper. I don't know what he was doing there. You know, should have dead and buried the game. We didn't do it, you know. It was like we were time with them. And we kind of, for me, lads, we kind of got what we deserved. And if Swansea got out there with 3-3, look, as much as I think Leeds United should have won the game, but it would have been like we kind of, that's what we deserved, because we sat back in, you know, we kind of underestimated them. Brilliant ball into the box from time, and that's all it takes. It was just a little bit of quality. But yeah, for me, it was so annoying how we took the foot off the gas, and it is so annoying that we still continue to do the exact same thing, isn't it? And it's something that Farkas has to learn by, lads, because in the Premier League, you ain't getting away with that, lads. If you go 1-up against a team in the Premier League, any Premier League team, and you take your foot off the gas like that, you're getting punished 100%, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you're sitting back there, and we conceded anyway. I mean, like, he made these defensive subs. He brought on Gilavogi, who we keep saying he comes on to see a game out.
James De Boyo as well.
James De Boyo, Voba,
all these came off a Boyo.
So you look at it and go, I've got all these defenders.
But even Nanto, man, Nanto was nearly playing as like a wing back.
Yeah, well,
that's why Nanto wasn't that Nanto played badly. Just he couldn't get into the game. It was just wasn't in a position. He was back in his own half trying to defend. Do you know what I mean? And then we had a chance. It was like then we switched. It was 3-3. Then it was like, right, we need to get forward to get a goal. And then you could see us pushing up the pitch. It was like, why does it take for us to concede a goal? You know, for us to kind of switch on and go, right, we need to sit back up here. Like, it's very frustrating.
You sit back, yeah, and you're not going to be cut up. And when you've got that many bodies in your half, as we do when we're retreating like that, right, you're not going to get cut up, and they're not going to score a worldie, right? So in one respect, it's right. You're camping out, you're making it hard, right? But what are Leeds shit at? Defending set pieces, defending free kicks, defending balls into the box. And what are you inviting in when you sit back? Balls into the box. It might not be a set piece, lad. It might be a couple of passes and whipped in. And then what did the goal come from? Exactly that.
But we did start doing it then, because then we did start giving away stupid fouls. Then the likes of Byron one as well, the handball. We did start giving away stupid fouls then and stupid free kicks around the edge of our box then as well, giving them the opportunity to put the ball in the box, which to me is absolutely stupid. I'm going to go back to who said it here. Scooby said it here, and this is one thing: hey, they stay on the front foot or at least keep the ball. 110%, lads. That's not what we need to be doing. Bielsa obviously took it to the extreme. Generally, the best form of defence was attack and all that sort of stuff. But it's just been a little bit more savvy, like, especially look if it's 4-2, there's 5 minutes to go. Right, fine, fair enough. But when it's 3-2, the game is on a knife edge like that, and then you decide to let everyone sit back in. To me, it's just mental tactics. That can't come from the players.
We could have put the bench and all the coaching staff in that box for that last 5 minutes. Would have still fucking conceded a goal, lads.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, Matty. That's what it felt like, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that was Bill Farker. It's the only thing. I love everything else. I don't, some people say it's not exciting. You'll have games what are exciting. You'll have games that are really.
Well, that was exciting yesterday.
Yeah, well, I don't like using the boring tag for these 2-0 wins. Controlled is what I'd say. It's very controlled and measured, and that's not exciting. Sometimes it don't have to be boring just because it's not exciting. There's a middle ground there. It don't mean. I mean, if it's not exciting, don't mean it's shit, does it? It means it's controlled and measured, and I like that about him. I think like we talk about all the time with Bielsa, we can go off on a tangent on that, but take Bielsa, erase Bielsa from the history. Oh God, you better not. But if you did, you'd think Farker, best manager we've had since fucking O'Leary 20 odd years ago. So
but he probably is. He probably is, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, in fairness,
A few years under Bielsa made us all, love that type of football. And anytime I watch England or any other team, even City, the way they play it is really measured and controlled. And I don't feel like players get the freedom anymore. They don't really get the freedom. They've got to stick to a rule.
Yeah, it's all these tactics now and in-depth and sports science and all this. Yeah, all this shit that everything is like controlled. Yeah, it's just like everyone has this anxiety where everything needs to be controlled. And back in the bleeding 90s, we just throw 11 lads on the pitch and just lump long balls and kill each other. Like, unbelievable. But
that's
lads, look, I wanted to just touch on that with Daniel Farke because I thought it was just me. It was definitely something I wanted to bring up with you because I feel like it is becoming a little bit of a problem and something that can catch him out. But look, we're going to wrap it up there, lads. Any of you's got anything else to add before we finish it up?
I'm going to say 3-1.
Yeah, we need his predictions, lads.
Dilla's going 3-1. I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
3-0 Leeds.
Love it. So we're all.
Oh, yeah, just so that no one has actually got any points on the board. So for the new subscribers or new people that are watching, we have a little bet going on here. Whoever gets the most points by predicting each game doesn't have to eat the world hottest chip. Am I right?
Yeah, whoever's bottom of our table of predicting scores by the end of the season will have to eat a hot chip.
We're all on 0 at the minute.
On the live. And have to
shows how much we know we've all been wrong at the minute.
I have to talk about the live, like on the live. Like, get on with it, like.
Am I okay to mention my giveaway, lads?
Yeah, Matty was literally just about to say that. Yeah, Matty has a bit of news, lads, so if he's listening up to this one.
I've got a giveaway for anyone watching. I'm going to do a raffle tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on my channel. I'm going to do the preview for the game at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll have the raffle intertwined with that live video. I've got a ticket to sit alongside me, poor you, for the Luton game on Thursday night.
Just want to lend it is.
I could pay for the flights, lads. You could come with me, to be fair. But yeah, so all you've got to do to be entered into that draw is I've put a video on my TikTok, on my Instagram, and on my YouTube. ImaginenotbeingLeeds. It's a couple of minutes long. All you need to do is share that video on any social media platform of your choice. Screenshot that you've done it and send me it. DM me in any social media you can find me. Matty Foster on Facebook, or ImaginenotbeingLeeds on X, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Let me know you've done it, and I'll put you into draw. And like I say, I'll draw that halfway through my preview tomorrow night. And meet you down at ground. If you like being on camera, we can be part of a match day vlog. If you don't, then don't worry about it. But yeah, it'd be nice to give back to subscribers. These lads did it with a giveaway for shop. It's just nice. We're up and coming YouTubers, and yeah, it's nice to give a little bit back for all the support we've got. Been at the start of our journey. So yeah, please get over there and subscribe and join the raffle.
Love that. I'm definitely going to add on to that one. Matty, does that include flights and accommodation? Just trying to
Unfortunately not, mate. I can't even afford the upgrade.
That's Leeds Hospitality, 3-course meal, 20 points. And a happy ending.
I'm sold. I'm sold, Matty. I'm sold.
Hey, Dylan, he hasn't been growing that tash the last couple of weeks for nothing.
Let's get close to that.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Right, boys, I think we end it there. I'm conscious of Matty over on Joe's channel. Don't want to hold them up.
He has to sing us out. You know the rules.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the sing song. I actually did forget. Let's hear it. Matty, what have you got for us?
I don't know what
Sweet Caroline. Sweet Caroline. Take it away.
Take it away.
Sweet Caroline.
Ba, ba, ba.
Good times never seem so good.
So
So
good.
good.
So good.
So good.
So good.
So good. I love
I'll
this.
be declined
Ba, ba, ba.
to believe they never would. I know. See you later, everybody.
I love it. I
Tuning in.
love it. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys.
See you later, lads. Thanks for popping in. Before you leave the video, don't forget to smash a like, hit the subscribe button, and get across to Matty and Imagine Not Being Leeds, and hit that subscribe button as well. We'll chat you all again soon. Myself and Dylan will be back tomorrow for the Luton match. Build up a little bit more in depth about Luton, Daniel Farke's press conference, and what way we think the game is going to go. And then Wednesday we will be back for our second watch along that Matty is forcing us to do, and we've enjoyed it. So thanks very much for that one, Matty. So yeah, loads coming up this week. Let's hope Leeds pick up another 3 points and have a great week, lads. Mind yourselves.